Happy Thanksgiving! That was my turkey impersonation. I'm gonna work on that for next year. I am. Anyway, hope you're having a good day. I thought today we would make Brussels sprouts. Now I know those get a bad rap. A lot of people don't like them, or they think they don't like them, but they are delicious when roasted in the oven. Today we're gonna do a stovetop preparation in a skillet, because on big cooking days like Thanksgiving, the oven is prime real estate that you don't have a lot of room for. So a stovetop preparation is ideal for a big day like today. And today is probably one of the only days that I wish my name was Russell, so I could be giving you Russell's Brussels. I know. I'm not even drunk. I haven't had a drop of liquor. I've not. I had a whole glass of it. I did. No, just kidding. I didn't. Anyway, so let's get started. So, gonna move the camera down now. What we have here are Brussels sprouts. So, when you get them at the store in a bag, or I like to pick them out, I need a camera person. I like to pick them out on my own because they cook best if they're even in size, because that means you're gonna cook more evenly. So, the ones I have today came in a bag, and they're all pretty much the same size, which was helpful. But when you get them, you want to wash them, dry them really well, and then, you know, they come on a stalk, so they have a little fibrous woody end. And what you want to do is you want to peel off some of those outer leaves if they look, you know, a little rough, or like maybe a bug got on it or whatever. And then you want to trim off that fibrous end. Can you see that? My lights are bright. You've all seen a Brussels sprout. Come on. Anyway, trim off that fibrous end. And then you're gonna cut them in half. So this is what we got here. We've got nice flat surfaces, which is what we want for today's preparation. So now, oh, I just meant to tell you, so today's Brussels sprouts, it's going to be, they are apple cider glazed Brussels sprouts with shallots, pomegranate, and pistachio. Delicious. All right, here we go. So in your skillet, here we go. In your skillet, we are going to get our heat on, about medium. We're going to put a few tablespoons of olive oil in there. Get the pan going. I should have already done this part, but I didn't. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to lay these in flat side down, because you want to get this flat side, you want to get color on it, right? And you don't want to salt your Brussels sprouts yet. We're going to season them in a few minutes, but you don't want to salt them yet. And the reason why you don't want to salt them yet is because when you salt something before it goes in a pan, the exception of course is proteins, but when you salt a vegetable before it goes into a hot pan, the salt is going to draw out the liquid, which is in effect going to steam whatever you have. And so what we got here is a skillet on medium heat. We've got olive oil in there. And we want to put our Brussels sprouts flat side down, and we're not going to season them just yet with salt and pepper. We're going to wait. And the reason we wait is because when you put a vegetable or anything that you want to get color on in a hot skillet, if you salt it right away, it's going to start exuding its liquid, which is going to inhibit the browning process. So we're just trying to get these guys all flat side down, and we're going to season them in a few minutes because we want to get a little color on them, because color is flavor, right? Color equals flavor. So get them all in there. Don't crowd them. You want to do one layer. You can cook these in several batches if you have the patience. Obviously it's just me today, so this will be enough for, you know, 2 meals. All right, so we've got them in there. Now we're going to let them hang out for, you know, just a few minutes to get some color on them. Just a little bit of trivia is that Brussels sprouts are native to the Mediterranean area. However, they were cultivated and became popular in, of course, Brussels, Belgium. So put that on your trivia night when you're at a cocktail party, and then see who promptly runs away from you. So we've got these guys going. In the meantime, I have some pre-prepped shallot here. So I've got some shallot that we chopped up very fine, very fine. I've got 1 clove of garlic that I've minced really fine into basically like a paste. I actually used I mentioned this yesterday because I love this thing. I used my microplane to grate my garlic. It gives you a really fine paste, and it just kind of melts into whatever food you are preparing. The other ingredients we're going to be using is, of course, salt and pepper. We'll do that in a couple of minutes. And then we have just a little bit of broth. You can use veggie broth. I happen to have chicken broth here that I made last night. And then we're going to have apple cider. You could use apple juice. It's not going to be the same flavor because apple cider is a really intense apple flavor. That's what you want to go for here. We're going for big flavors, right? I also have some pistachio seeds that I've toasted earlier, just letting those hang out. And then in a few minutes, we'll cut away and I'll show you how to get the seeds out of a pomegranate. All right? So, we've got these. Jesus Christ. Well, we had a little accident. I mean, no one's injured. My tripod thing, and the phone fell off of it. The whole thing fell on the floor, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, we're back. So what we have here is our Brussels are doing their thing. And as you can see, we're starting to get some color on these, which is what we want, right? So those are going to hang out a few more minutes. Just move them around a little bit. Don't want any areas to get too brown. Let's see here. There we go. So I don't use my hands to cook. I do have utensils. I was just trying to show you what's happening. So once these guys are getting some color on them, now we can start to season because we've already started the browning process, right? So we're going to do a little bit of kosher salt or whatever salt you want. I like kosher. Not too much salt because remember we're going to add some chicken broth, and when you reduce chicken broth down, you're basically concentrating the flavor, so you don't want to get too salty. All right, so we got our salt in there, and do a little pepper. Anybody want to get me a good pepper shaker for Christmas? Because this is annoying. A little stupid Trader Joe's thing. I actually have a pepper shaker somewhere. It's boxed up. Maybe don't buy me one just yet. Anyway, unless you send me a picture of it and like it better than the one I have. So that's a possibility as well. All right, so at this point, we are going to put in our shallot. Put that in there, as well as our garlic. And the reason we don't put the shallot and the garlic in right away is because we don't want it to burn, especially garlic. When garlic burns, it is a terrible, terrible flavor. It ruins everything. So we don't want to go there. So we're going to get these guys going. Now you can start to toss them a little bit. And don't move them around too much because the leaves will fall off and they won't be as, pretty. But we got some good color on there, as you can see, which is what we want. So at this point, we probably have some little brown bits. I can see some brown bits on the bottom of the pan. That's called fond, F-O-N-D. I'm fond of fond. I got the dad jokes. So the fond equals flavor. So when you have those little brown bits, you can use any kind of liquid to break those up and bring them to the surface. So today we're going to use just a splash of white wine. I usually have Sauvignon Blanc on hand, but today I have a Viognier. It's got a fruitiness to it. It's a little bit of apricot-y. It says here it's got some young grapes and apricot and peach with a luscious mango nectar finish. Whatever. Just give yourself a few splashes, just a little bit. And maybe a couple of tablespoons. And as you can see, it's just going to start to deglaze. It's called deglazing. So all that fond and brown stuff on the bottom, the good stuff, is going to start deglazing, which is going to be building our sauce, right? It's also going to help those onions to soften up a little bit. So at this point, I will give my sauce a little bit of a taste. Just want to see. It could use a pinch more salt, a little bit more salt. Now, at this point, we're going to crank the heat up a little bit to about medium-high. You don't want it to burn. So, we've got that. Now we're going to add a little bit of butter, maybe about a tablespoon, just because butter makes it better. Give that a zhuzh. This will impress your friends when you do this. Just try not to put it all over your floor. I don't have any friends to impress, so there you go. Now we're going to add our chicken stock. Hear that sizzle? That's good, that's good. We like that. And now we're going to add our apple cider. So just guesstimate this. I'm probably going to not put in all this. As I said, I'm terrible with measurements. I don't really like to deal with them. But you know, you'll adjust it to how many ever servings you're going to make. So at this point, we want this to reduce down, and these will continue to cook through. You don't want them to be too mushy, but they will continue to cook down. So you can really crank the heat up on this at this point, because you want the apple cider and the wine and the butter to sort of reduce down to give you that glaze, right? So while that's doing its thing, we're going to cut away, and I'm going to show you how to prepare a pomegranate, all right? So see you back here in a couple of minutes. Okay, we're back. Now I put on some gloves because it got really cold. Just kidding. I put on gloves because pomegranates are quite staining, and although I'm not a hand model, it's just annoying to continually, you know, scrub your fingers more than we already do. So, just easy to put on some gloves, and also don't use your favorite cutting board for this because it will stain. I just have one of these, you know, plastic cutting boards, which if you wash up pretty quickly, it's fine. So what we have here is pomegranate. These are beautiful. They're in season right now. You want to find one. It doesn't matter the color. The color can be deep red to a pinkish red. The color's not that important. What is important is that it has a firmness to it. You don't want any super squishy soft spots. You want a nice firm pomegranate, right? So there we go. And you're gonna have a stem end, two stem ends really, or a leaf end, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, it hung on a tree like this at some point. So you don't want to cut that way. You want to cut this way, right? So we're going to cut our pomegranate half, and look how beautiful. I mean, come on. It's like beautiful little jewels in there, just waiting for you to harvest them. All right, so then we're just going to cut sections. I don't need a lot today because it's just me. This is probably fine. So when you get to this point, how you get these out, I believe they're called arils. I could be wrong, but I think it's called arils. Anyway, you just want to work them very gently. You don't want to break them, but over a bowl of water, right? So the reason we do that is because, and just kind of fish them out. The reason we do that is because pomegranate seeds sink. They will not float. So what's going to happen is all these little pith and membranes and things, there you see, that will float. So that stays on the top, and all your beautiful pomegranate seeds fall to the bottom. So it's just an easy way to harvest them. Some people bang on them with a spoon, but I find when you do that, you end up wearing half of it, or it goes all over your backsplash, and your backsplash truly becomes a backsplash. So I like to do this method. There's probably other methods as well, but you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So there we go. This one had quite a lot in it. So get those little guys out of there. And now, that's plenty for me. Now you just fish these little membranes out. See? They float to the top. And then, you know, you'll have to pick out a couple here and there. Sometimes they stick to them. Just take your time. It's worth it, trust me. You can buy them in the cups, like at Whole Foods and stuff, but I find those don't have the best flavor to me because they put citric acid on them to sort of preserve them, and it just kind of has like a little bit of an off flavor that I don't enjoy. And these are more cost effective. You know, one of those little cups of pomegranate seeds can be like $5 or $6, and one pomegranate, this big guy, was only, I think I got him for $2.50. So, actually, I take that back. Funny story. I got this pomegranate at Target for free because the person who was my cashier kept just trying to punch in codes and he couldn't figure it out. And then he said, I can't find the code for red onions. And I said, well, that's not a red onion, it's a pomegranate. And he goes, who? And I said, a pomegranate. And he goes, I've never heard of such a thing. And I said, oh, wow. Well, they're delicious, and you sell them downstairs. You should pick one up. They're really good. And I said, you should Google it. And then he wrote back. He said, well, I'm not going to do that, but I'm not going to charge you for this because I don't want to deal with it. So I got this $2.50 pomegranate for free. Happy Thanksgiving to me. Anyway, so hopefully he has learned about pomegranates by now and how amazing they are. So we have our pomegranate seeds here, and you're just going to fish them out. You just fish them right out. And there they are. Beautiful. There's not any little membranes on them. They're clean because I have them in the water. And they are rip-raring to go, Where is my little bowl? I had a little bowl. Hold, please. Don't go anywhere. Hey, little bowl. Hey. Found you. There you are, my little bowl. My little pomegranate bowl. So, our pomegranates, seeds, here. There we go. That's enough for now. You get the idea. So, we can remove our gloves because I'm warm now. And we're going to cut back to the Brussels sprouts. Hold, please. I really need a camera person. Okay, we're back. So, we're back to the stove, which is literally about 14 inches away from where I just was. But we're back, and our Brussels sprouts have reduced down. I'm going to turn the heat off now. As we say in the South, cut the heat off. And now I will show you, they have reduced down. So that glaze that we've made, it's reduced down now, as you can see. So off heat, you want to just toss in. You don't have to do this. I just like to do it because it adds a little richness. Less than a pat of butter. And you do this off heat because you don't want the milk fats in the butter to separate, to break up. When you put butter in to a dish, or cheese into a dish off the heat, it emulsifies, so it's going to become part of that sauce, which is what we want. All right, so you can see now they're glistening. They have that beautiful glisten with the butter and the cider and the wine and the shallots and the garlic. So now we have that. Now, I don't really have any old lady serving bowls, but well, you can see now. So now we're just going to plate them up, bowl them up, eat them up. You have your Brussels. And these are the pistachio seeds that the pistachio nuts that I toasted earlier. Just do a sprinkle of those. It's just nice to have something with some texture, and it's good protein. And if you left out the chicken stock, and the butter, this would be vegan. So you could also use a butter substitute for your vegan friends or whatever. And then now on top, just those beautiful, beautiful pomegranate seeds. And there you have it. You have cider glazed pomegranate. What are these? Cider glazed Brussels sprouts with pomegranate and pistachio and shallots. Delicious for Thanksgiving or really any time of year. Now I didn't sing today because I couldn't figure out what to sing. So I'll just leave you with a theme song. Hey, good looking, what you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with me? How's about cooking something up with me? Brussels sprouts. Happy Thanksgiving.